What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Christmas show here. We are chatting AEW Dynamite on 34th Street. It's December 25th. We hope you are all having a very lovely Christmas. It's Denise Salcedo here, joined by Righteous Reg. Reg, how are you?
Your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. Very fun episode of the watch along we had. We had some very exciting moments. I'm trying to remember what happened on this wrestling show because it was mostly about moms and grandmas.
I feel bad for everybody that's coming into this show, barely listening to the podcast because the watch along was probably, it wasn't even a watch along at this point. It was just a holiday party, is what it felt
Yes,
like.
I loved it.
But it was a lot of really good stuff. I feel like, look, sometimes Christmas shows you can think, oh, well, why should I tune in? Christmas shows usually feel like a throwaway. We usually get like silly food fights and silly things like that. But we've
Yep.
got a string of really good matches here today and a main event that I can't wait to talk about. And of course, this was actually our go home show into AEW World's End, which truthfully, I kind of forgot because I think in my mind, World's End was 2 weeks away, not this Saturday. But here we are getting into World's End. Reg, what did you think of the show overall as a whole?
Yeah, I think it just kind of being a Continental Classic showcase was super fun. Like all the matches got a lot of time. It was like, this is the focus of the show. We got the show coming up this weekend. We got the semifinal matches coming up, the finals happening. We need to put emphasis. We need to kind of wrap a bow on the TV portion of what the Continental Classic represents. And I think we saw so many amazing matches legit just tonight, but throughout the whole tournament, that this is a great way to end it. And them to just being like, there's not a lot of in-ring promos. There's not a lot of backstage stuff here. This just straight up wrestling, back-to-back wrestling. We're coming back from commercial into wrestling matches. It felt really good. And there was a lot of fun matches on here too.
You know, I'm kind of sad that the Continental Classic is over. I mean,
Me
obviously not
too.
over, but over on Dynamite and whatnot, because
Damn.
it really did keep the programming just like fun and fresh and being like, oh my God, look at us. We're getting Darby versus Will Ospreay. And usually there's always that like weird period after the Continental Classic where you're like, oh, how do I feel about the show today? Well,
Yep.
the matches are going to be a little different. We got to focus a little bit more so on the story element because it's not just about, getting wins and trying to get points for the actual Continental Classic. So we do kind of, usually the weeks following the Continental Classic, we do see it takes a little bit of a beat until we get back into like that
Right.
normal feel of normal programming for Dynamite and whatnot.
Yeah, this time I'm interested to see how they come out of the show because I think like we'll talk about here the world title program and what's happening there and what happens with the winner of the Continental Class. Going to see interesting to see how they transition into the rest of the TV, especially because we're starting out a new year. It's going to feel like a new refreshing thing. This is a great time, I think, to have the Continental Classic, and I hope that it continues moving forward into this. It feels like if you kind of forget what AEW is throughout the year, they'll remind you at the end, like, here's a crazy tournament. Here's some of the best wrestlers in the world, some of the best matches you'll ever see right here on display. And then it leads us into the new year.
Yeah, it definitely does. So let's kind of highlight and talk about some of the matches that were displayed here for the Continental Classic. I want to kick things off with the opening match, which, by the way, I was like, oh shit, we're opening off with Will Ospreay. Now that's how you grab people's attention. But we got Will Ospreay defeating Brody King, of course, in the Continental Classic Gold League, which sends Will Ospreay into the semifinals for his bracket as well. But what we got here was kind of the opposite of what we got with Darby, right? Because when we saw Will Ospreay versus Darby, it was Will Ospreay, really on the offense, getting all these hits in on Darby Allin during that match, all the punishment that Darby took. In this match, it was quite the opposite. Instead, you were getting Brody King inflicting all of this damage on Will Ospreay. I mean, dude, Will Ospreay, when you go to toe with him on anything, Will Ospreay is probably going to be the one that, just delivers a little bit more. But damn, Brody King, though, Brody King brought it with those freaking chops, Reg. When he was chopping down Will Ospreay, at one point I'm thinking, dude, he's gonna take this man's head off. And especially when every time Ospreay sold for that, he would always move his head back. So you would see the chop, hear the chop, and just see Ospreay's head go backwards. And it was a really, really high chop as well. So the visual of that was very, very intense. But this was a damn fun match, especially whenever we got to see like Will Ospreay lift up Brody King, who we know is not a light guy. He's a meaty one.
Yeah, this felt like Will Ospreay developed his striking in Japan against some of the hardest hitters in the world, and he became one of the hardest hitting strikers. But you see him in here against Brody King, who like doesn't take no shit. He's spending all of his time chopping Will Ospreay down legit. He's elbowing his face off, like he's just trying to outstrike him, and it's working every time. It's like you said, Ospreay is one of the hardest hitting strikers ever, but Brody King is just on a different level, a different thing. He's like trying to take his head off and trying to establish that he doesn't want to go toe to toe with him. And there's so many moments where Ospreay was like, "I can't go toe to toe with you. Here's a big chop. Here's a big elbow. Here's a big kick." But then Brody King's right back with the lariat, right back with an elbow, right back with something, and he takes Will Ospreay off guard. But that was the craziest part. Early in the match, Denise, you were like, Ospreay looks strong. He looks powerful. Like it's going to be hard for him to compete with a guy like Brody King. But like Ospreay also, he started out as a junior wrestler and transitioned into a heavyweight wrestler. And when he became a heavyweight wrestler, power and strength and using that to help him develop his character is a lot of why he became champion up there. And so him using that, him finishing off with a stormbreaker, using his strength, and like you said, like Brody King has to be light to get up there. He's not a light guy, Denise. He's gigantic. And for Ospreay to do that and finish him with that in the match, I think was awesome.
And all I got to say is Brody King should be the leader of the House of Black. I'm sorry, but every week I'm going to have to start saying that because at this point, he's the guy. He's the only one we really see on a weekly basis constantly delivering in the ring. I feel like Brody King, especially the latter portion of this year, has become a person that you genuinely want to see each and every single week on the show.
It felt like there's perception of how people kind of felt about House of Black and where they stand. And this year, I think they regained a lot of goodwill. But putting Brody King specifically in this tournament, I think changed a lot of people' perceptions specifically on him. And I think a lot of people are coming out of this feeling the same way as you. Denise is like, he should be the leader of this. He's representing House of Black harder than anybody right now. And the momentum is going to carry him into leading this group. With Julia Hart just returning and how people feel about them, her and Brody as the forefront of this group, I think is the future of it.
I feel you, man. All right. Ricochet versus Darby Allin. That, of course, went to a 20-minute time limit draw for the Continental Classic Gold League. Both of them scoring a point for each of one of them. This one I thought in the beginning was a little bit slow, but then, I mean, there was really the big moment was when Ricochet did that 630 senton from the post to the floor. I mean, dude, you guys have to see that. If you did not see that, if you did not watch the show, please go on Twitter, go somewhere to see this clip, Reg. Instantly, the one thing that I really loved about it was the way that he tucked his legs, the way that you could see it so perfectly. And he just went like he just rolled like a ball. It was just like a little snowball going down, but making all of these flips. It was one of the most beautiful ones I've seen.
It's there's some things that Ricochet does effortlessly. Like if I would have saw this clip right here 20 years ago, I would be watching Ricochet do a 630 splash off the ropes through a table 10,000 times. I would have downloaded, I'll show it all of my friends. Like this would be a forever clip that like just randomly shows up. This was in the middle of the match, Denise. This was like Ricochet was just like, I feel like doing this right now, easily busting out the 630 splash through a table, dangerous spot. Like, and then he just gets up and he's just like, yep, did that. Does another flip, does another thing. And he's like, yep, did that. And that playing into what his character is developing to this heel persona of like, dude, I'm better than all these fools. Did you see me flipping out there? I'm cool. I think it's awesome. And then Darby just being into that, kind of continuing what he did with Ospreay of like, I'm in this and I'll do anything in the world to stop you from having momentum, but not being up to enable enough to have Ricochet from not proceeding in the tournament. I think it's cool that Ricochet is going on because early in the tournament, I was feeling down on Ricochet. It's documented on this show. I was like, I don't know what Ricochet's up
You
to.
mean when he wrestled Konosuke Takeshita and the match did not live up to anybody's expectations?
There was a couple even matches in the beginning of this tournament with Claudia. I was like, I don't know, is Ricochet
Oh,
really?
oh, no, wait, never mind. That was Shelton. Never mind. I was thinking about Kyle Fletcher. Sorry,
Yeah,
wrong match.
yeah, no, that was a different match. But yeah, it was like, I don't know if Ricochet is really out here, but like ever since then, the Commander match, Ospreay, this match tonight, he is ready. He's in full gear. This feels like the Ricochet I've always wanted to exist on a television program. So I'm excited about Ricochet. He's wrestling Okada. Like, this is gonna be dope.
You know what I think is helping Ricochet right now is that There are times where certain wrestlers are on the show, but the story is not about them. You know that there's no real end game plan. They're just helping out. So they're just helping, somebody else with their story or with their journey on the show where they're supposed to be getting wins, right? Like there's basically there's supplemental acts sometimes, and that's what it feels like for certain people, right? But then when the story's about you, when you know that there is more effort being put into your stock on the show, I feel like that is what we're currently seeing with Ricochet. I have a feeling like when Ricochet first came in, they were sort of testing the waters with Ricochet versus
Yeah.
now there seems to be a purpose for Ricochet. He's got this new heel gimmick. People are throwing toilet paper at him. He's constantly getting freaking promos in ring, behind the scenes, you name it. He's, in this backstage stuff with Swerve and the Hurt Syndicate, and he has a purpose on the show. I feel like
Yeah.
him having a purpose on the show might be changing Ricochet to the point where it's like, oh shit, like I matter and what I'm doing matters. So I'm going to put a little extra effort, which may be why we're seeing those better matches from Ricochet. I don't know. That's just a theory.
No, that's a great theory, Denise. If there's purpose, that's always what it felt like. Like we know that Ricochet can flip. We know that he's amazing, but like I hate this. What's the story? What is his motivation behind wrestling? Does he want to win? Blah blah blah. This feels like the most interested I've been in Ricochet as a character, besides like when he's Prince Puma and Lucha Underground, which isn't it really him. He's like playing a different character. This guy and what he represents feels like it's finally being shown on screen. It's like the flips, but there's this extra character. There's the part that you want to see. You want to see Ricochet get beat up. They're adding in the toilet paper. He's adding on this hill thing that I think is going to take him to that next level that he's always needed to get to. This is perfect for Ricochet.
And we did have another. I want to kind of get through all the Continental Classic matches before I get into all the super chats. But
Mhm.
Continental Classic, we also got to see Commander defeat Claudio Castagnoli. Commander finally getting some points on the board here with 3 points, and then Claudio Castagnoli with those 9 points as well. I feel bad, Reg. This was the only match on the show where I was a little bit disconnected because I was
Yeah.
on the phone with my grandma and my mom. But from what you saw, what did you think of Commander and Claudio?
I feel bad too because I was distracted doing bits about you being on the phone. The whole time I'm just talking about what you're talking about, which is not the match. And I'm sorry that we didn't give Commander and Claudio the proper respect. But this is when it became the holiday stream and we're just having a good time. So don't mind us.
This is
I
when
think
the show hit the fan. That's when the show
yes.
hit the fan for us.
Exactly, but Commander playing spoiler to Claudio, who I think could have had if Claudio would have won, he could have been in the semifinals. But Commander coming in here, spoiling that, getting a big win, especially after just winning the ROH Television Championship. I think it was a good move for that, especially because Hammerstein's already in that mindset of we just saw him get that win, now we see him get another big win. I think it was a big moment for Commander.
Well, yeah, and he finally got some points on the board. I was like, bro, you can't do both
It
Commander
don't
and He's
matter.
Muertos dirty with straight 0 points and absolutely nothing to show for it. That's kind of
Double goose
messed up,
egg.
man. It really is.
Yeah.
So glad he got some points on the board. But another Blue League match that we saw was Kazuchika Okada versus Shelton Benjamin. A very nice wrestling match. That is exactly what we
Yeah.
saw here. But of course, with Okada getting the win, he lands himself those 10 points, and Shelton remains at 6. But here's the thing, like there were some moments throughout this match, Reg, where I kind of got a little nervous. And I say that with the utmost respect, but Okada needed to win this. I didn't want to see them do a bit where like they end on a time limit draw here. Cause I'm like, you kind of already did that with him and Garcia. I originally, Reg, going into the Continental Classic, I wanted Okada to remain completely undefeated. I didn't want no time limit draws, none of that. I wanted straight, clean wins for Okada the whole tournament. And I only said that and wanted that because, of course, a big topic, in the last couple of months since Okada has been with AEW has been the booking of AEW. Sorry, the booking of Okada in AEW, and not him really, not them booking him the way that you would have thought when he was literally like the number one prospect of like, holy shit, is he going to go to WWE? AEW cannot lose out on Okada. That would be insane. They
Right.
get Okada, and the booking wasn't necessarily too great for him. So I kind of wanted them to like revamp that in this tournament by having him go completely undefeated. They didn't necessarily go about it that way because of the time limit draw and whatnot, but we still did get a lot of really great stuff with Okada here in this particular tournament. So I do like the way we ended up seeing things culminate for Okada.
Yeah, there was a moment of mine where I was like, I kind of wish I talked about it on Grab City on Saturday, where I was like, I kind of wish Okada would have just they would have had the Continental belt on the line for every Okada match, because then that way he could just win every match. But that I understand why that didn't work. I think the story that they did tell with him coming in and the wrestlers kind of spoiling his run, because there's all this talk about like Okada's this great tournament wrestler. Okada's one of the best ever in tournament wrestling, actually, and he's probably going to come through and walk over these guys. But with what has been developing this year and people saying he's not booked as well, he's not working as well, he's not the Okada that we know, them forcing him to become the Okada that we know, I think in the tournament specifically is what did it, is what's going to help his character moving forward. Shelton Benjamin had a great run in this. I think what they wanted to accomplish with having him in this tournament was perfect. He had these great matches with these young guys, showcase. We know that Shelton moving forward is going to be able to compete with the best of the best in AEW. But this was Okada's tournament to win or lose. Like, he needs to be there in the final. He needs to get to the semifinals. He needs to be set up in these positions. What could potentially happen moving forward in 2025 and what he represents winning this tournament, I think is so important. So, yeah, this match was fun. This was one of those matches when Shelton was there were some murmurs of Shelton coming in. It's like, damn, it'd be cool to see him against guys like Okada. And we got to see him against guys like Okada. And they totally had a match that you would expect them to. It's in Hammerstein Ballroom. It's just kind of confusing as to why this is happening, but super cool that it's happening.
It threw me for a loop. I think during this match, I took a moment and I was just reflecting back to where we were, a couple like what, a year ago, 2 years
Mm-hmm.
ago, we were not seeing Okada full time in AEW. Shelton Benjamin was in WWE and catering basically. And it was just like, man,
Yeah.
like who would have thought that all of this would go down and this is what would happen. And so that was one of the trippy moments that I was thinking about while I was watching this matchup. But here's the thing. I know a lot of people might have assumed that my favorite match of the night was Will Ospreay and Brody King, and it was a really damn good one. But I gotta
Anger.
give my match of the night to the main event, which was what we were calling like the match of the future. And we say that
Yeah.
because it was by Kyle Fletcher and Daniel Garcia, who are two young acts in AEW Continental Classic Blue League. Dude, they fucking killed it in this. The speed at which they were working, the ring apron spots that we saw, the brain buster on the ring apron, the brain buster on the inside of the ring. Kyle Fletcher, I legitimately thought, and I said this on the watch along, I thought Daniel Garcia was going to beat him. And the only
Mm-hmm.
reason I said that was because I feel like AEW might see a little bit more in Daniel Garcia, or I feel, and maybe I should rethink this. I think that Daniel Garcia was the one that they invested more in. But Kyle Fletcher, through his feud with Will Ospreay, kind of became a bigger name because of that feud. And I don't know if that's what AEW expected or what. Regardless, I feel like Kyle Fletcher and Daniel Garcia, they really earned my respect here tonight, man. I thought they fucking killed it.
There was a lot of matches in this tournament, I think specifically Denise, that represent what AEW is, specifically Darby Allin and Will Ospreay. Like, when I think of like what should they show the fans of what AEW represent, this type of the match, the future of AEW, that's what this main event was. Like, Kyle Fletcher versus Daniel Garcia. We're going to see these two guys in this company for a very long time. Both of these guys eventually should be AEW world champion. They really brought, they like, for this to be like the end of the TV portion of this tournament, this is how you end it. Kyle Fletcher's on this crazy run. He could potentially have this rematch with Will Ospreay if he wins this match. But Daniel Garcia also continuously fighting with something to prove. This whole tournament was about trying to be better than he was last time, trying to establish himself, trying to not be the person that gets 0 wins or the person that's just there to take losses. He really brought in this match. There are some disgusting moments. The brain buster on the apron was unreal. Like, there you see a lot of apron bumps and they're just like, okay, that's like the move. It looked like it happened in the ring, but on the apron. No, this was like the brain busters on the apron. There was a couple apron spots, the apron power bomb, apron brain buster, the fucking top rope generico. Brain buster was insane too. It wasn't straight on. He almost looked like he dropped him out of the ring. There's just so many moments that's like, this is the future of this business. These guys are working like they should, and they should be in main events like this. It was just so fun. Daniel Garcia was working in New York. He finally brought back the dance. Like, all the things are there and on his side. There was moments where it felt like he was going to win, but Kyle Fletcher has so much to prove. He came into this tournament wanting to show that he's the best, that he's better than Will Ospreay. getting the win. It made a lot of sense to me. He's going to have that face off with Will Ospreay again at World's End. Like, it just made a lot of sense for him to win.
So, like Reg just said right now, the Continental Classic semifinals, Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay, and of course, Ricochet versus Kazuchika Okada. So that brings us to my first super chat that I wanted to get into. This is Leonard Aarons III, who says, AEW is having too many rematches too soon, and I hope they go back to their roots for 2025. Mox out here wanting to separate the game from the truth. All right, so with that being said, we are seeing a rematch here with Kyle Fletcher and versus Will Ospreay. So, of course, Leonard Aarons III is not just talking about this match, but I don't know. I don't feel like, here's the thing, like the rematches that they have done, I feel like they have had a purpose. The only rematch that I feel we saw one too many times was Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. That one I did feel like we didn't need to see that one again, so I do agree with that one. However, Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay, you said it during the watch along, Reg, Will Ospreay's got to get his win back. He won the first one, lost the second one because that was the one where he got screwed. And then now you're revisiting it here with Kyle and Will. I love the fact that we're revisiting this match because the way that this show ended with both of these guys staring each other down, that was freaking cool. Like, this whole feud has made Kyle Fletcher into a way bigger star than he was, at the top of the year. Like, this has really made Kyle Fletcher into a singles act to the point where when's the last time we mentioned Mark Davis here, Raj? And you were the one that was like, oh yeah, I want them to go back to Aussie Open. And I was like, no, Reg, Kyle Fletcher needs to be on his own now because he's freaking killing it on his own. And that's where all the interest is at right now. I do feel him going back to the tag team would kind of, be a couple steps back right now for Kyle. If he wants to make that big money, he has to be a big single star. This is it, Reg. This is it.
Probably not the perfect time to get him back to tag team wrestling. Yeah, I'm not the fondest guy of rematches either, but I think in this way, if it's not like we had it last week and then next week we're having another rematch and then the next week we're having another rematch, if they're back to back, that's when they get annoying. But if they're telling a story like this, we've had 2 Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher matches throughout the year. They're 1-for-1. This is kind of the rubber match in this tournament, what it represents. The winner goes on to the finals. I think this is a good place to do it because it's not going to be the payoff. Like, they're never going to not wrestle again after this, but it's a good way to continue on the story while getting Ospreay the win back. Fletcher is going to come out hot of it too. I think it makes a lot of sense here.
All right, we got John Taylor here, says, for the post show, this was one of the best Dynamites of the year, which is saying a lot because it's been great lately. More Hammerstein, less Mox. Look, by the way, that Hammerstein Ballroom energy, freaking cool, man. I love it so much more than Daly's place. Like, Daly's place kind of got like, it did what it did right during the pandemic. Great. Shout out to Daly's place. But the Hammerstein Ballroom, that shit looked cool. Like, when everybody was chanting, Ospreay, Ospreay, and then seeing Ospreay there just like soaking it in, little moments like that just hit a little harder.
Dude, it's New York. People forget they're one of the greatest wrestling places in the world. Like, when I first thought and came up in wrestling, it was all about New York. WWE represented New York. It was New York, New York. But even beyond that, when I got into independent wrestling, one of the hottest places that there was in New York, was specifically in this building at Hammerstein. They added so much to the end of this Continental Classic and what they brought in with the Ring of Honor show. I hope that they go back there multiple times in the future just because it's so much fun.
We got Leonard Aarons III, who says, everyone's still missing it with Mox, and why haven't we seen the bout? His disdain where their company is carries over to him hiding the title. Look, Leonard, I so appreciate you explaining what Mox is doing, and I get it, but that shit is boring, though. Sorry. I'm so sorry. At the end, when we had the Jon Moxley promo at the end, we were laughing because we were like, dude, what are you saying? What are you talking about? Stop speaking in riddles. You're losing us. Nobody talks like that in real life. Nobody. It's not entertaining. And it started one way and then it ended in a whole other way with him being like, I'm the king. And I'm like, that's what we're doing now. You're a king. It feels like too much. Like, they're trying to do too much, but none of it is like going anywhere.
Right. I understand what Leonard Aarons is saying. There is a purpose to it. There is a reason why he's not showing it, but I don't want it. Not at this point. I haven't seen the AEW World Championship. It feels like in 5 years. Like, what is the deal? Like, this championship should be on display.
We're not even seeing the trios titles either.
Let's not seeing the trios titles either.
The freaking group.
And like, there isn't time to not have those championships displayed all the time. They're still building those championships. It's not a thing like to be out of sight, out of mind, because people will really forget that shit forever. So it needs to be on display. The world championship needs to be on TV. I don't care what dumb story you're telling. If you did this once or twice in the week and then you stopped, I'd be with it. But the whole time you're gonna do this, we're never gonna see the world championship, and you're trying to continue on this, and it feels like you're telling the same exact story every single week. I'm kind of over it. I want to see.
And you were a fan, Reg.
I was in.
You were defending this whole Death Riders Jon Moxley story for like the longest time. And I kept telling you, Reg, it ain't there, bro. It ain't there.
Because I thought it was gonna get somewhere, Denise. I was like,
Bro,
okay,
where was it gonna get, Reg?
Let
Where?
it play out, Denise. Let them tell the story, but
What
played out.
No,
That's what I'm
being a hater
saying.
now. I'm just being a hater.
It's played out, and we're hearing this. We're seeing what's going on, and I'm just like, I don't really. It's not really my vibe, and it's like you're not really giving me the idea that these guys, any of these three guys challenging Moxley could win on Saturday. So I'm just like, what is this?
But see, that's what bums me out, though, is that I do think Hangman should win, but they're not going to do it.
No.
But he should.
He should. He definitely should. Like, if we're talking about right now, so who can hold this and do this hill shit and we'll like it, Hangman Page is the guy. But they're not going to do it right now, Denise, on Saturday.
Dude, that reaction when Jon Moxley came out and he was, with the beanie and the briefcase and everything. Yeah, nobody really like batted an eye. Hangman comes out, all scary, comes out, and everybody's like, yeah, Hangman.
They're in.
Because that's what's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, his hill stuff feels like something you cannot relate to, but you want to see how his stuff moves forward. I don't really care what Mox and them do at this point. I'm like, all right, I see what kind of story you're trying to tell, but I'm not really that interested in it moving forward. It's unfortunate because like I like all the Death Riders guys, but you're hiding away and doing this faux NWO style bloodline angles. I'm good.
That's wild. But Leonard Aaron's the third. Thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you for how do I say this? Like, I'm glad some people are liking the Mox storyline in a way because I don't want, I don't know.
I don't want it to be on TV and everybody's not into it. That'd be unfortunate.
Right. There you go. Exactly. It would kind of suck if everyone, I mean, it's a good majority though. It's a good amount. I don't think we're in the minority here. I think we're actually in the majority.
I'm saying they got to do something about it. They got to fix this.
All right, we got your father's brothers, nephews, cousins, former roommate who says, are Moxley and not Sam Roberts cousins?
Dude, they look alike, dude. The bald head with the beard, dude.
That's amazing. I never realized it till right now.
DNA test. That's crazy.
That's so funny. Dang, I should text Sam Roberts and be like, yo, you had a chance with Renee, bro. You had a chance with Renee.
I don't know. 2 and 2 equals 4 on that one, but I see.
He also says, Denise, for your next Blue Chew ad, cosplay Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
I might get sued for that, wouldn't I? Like Star Wars would come after me and be like, how dare you use our beloved Chewbacca?
Star Wars is Disney. They do not play that shit.
Oh, Disney would take me out so fast. You'd never see me again on this channel.
They do not play that shit.
Bro, the mouse would take me.
Seriously, you're like, woo! Just see like a white Mickey hand just come grab you.
You've heard those theories, right? That like Disneyland supposedly like scary shit has happened and they like cover it up.
Mm-hmm. A lot of spooky shit surrounding that. A lot.
Yeah, you know what's sad too? Disney's so popular that if something did happen to us, like the mouse ate us, nobody would care. They'd be like, I'm going to Disneyland. I'm gonna go have fun.
They get discount tickets in the mail and they just go and forget about it.
Yeah, we got Shelton Jackson here who gifted 5 DWO memberships. Thank you so much, Shelton. We got Juan Ortega here who says, Xmas after party, call up your aunt Denise, meet and greet.
Oh my God. We went through the family today. We did it.
I'm about to be calling all my relatives. I'm going to book everybody on a slot.
What time? You're on Saturday? You're on Wednesday?
We got Infamous Raider Loco who says, eyes glued to Cali Connection. Look up and Willy Wonka's on. Shit, did I miss Dynamite? More interesting in Denise's mom. Lil Bro Reg John Taylor, number 69. Dude, Dynamite is on? I mean, not Dynamite. Willy Wonka?
Willy Wonka. Yeah, it came on right after.
I love Willy Wonka.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have it on any of the apps, by the way. Like they don't got it on like on Netflix or none of that right now. So
that's what Timothy Chalamet or whatever his name is. Timothy
No, ew,
Chalamet.
no, the
Isn't Timothy Chalamet in
original.
one of them?
Yeah, but I only watch the original. I don't watch none of these new Willy Wonkas.
You don't care about Timothy Chalamet or whatever his name is?
Oh, no, there are certain movies you just don't remake. There are
I feel
certain
you.
movies you don't do spin-offs or any of that
Right.
crap. You
You're
just
right.
let it be. You let it exist in its own universe, and that is Willy Wonka. You just let it be.
They don't do that no more.
Pisses me off. All
Mhm.
right. Thank you so much, Infamous Radio Loco. We got just Ricardo who says, Merry Christmas, people. Love you, Step Host and Reg. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Ricardo. It's very nice of you. Infamous Radio Loco says, Reg, you peep out Mina's holiday pics with a bow. Did you see that, Reg?
I haven't. I'm gonna have to go find them.
Damn, you missed out, Reg. Some very
Put
nice
them
photos.
online.
There's that like a bow, some Christmas trees.
Okay, I'm gonna
It's
save
very
those for later.
nice. I don't want to know. Your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate says, why does the candy cane look like a snorkel to the CCO?
He doesn't see color.
Wild. Just Ricardo says Rico being TP'd and Hammerstein is wild. I loved that. We didn't even talk
Perfect.
about that backstage promo, by the way, with Ricochet and Swerve, where he returned the favor because last week Swerve was calling him Trevor. And Trevor this time was like, hey, yo, Stefan.
Wow, they beeping. They saying real names, government names on the show. I loved it. Ricochet being cocky, be like, "Did you see what I just did to Darby Allin? I'm gonna do what you couldn't do," and that's when the Continental Classic. And Swerve being like, "Dude, if you don't, I'm going to embarrass you." Really strong stuff from both those guys.
Juan Castro says, Merry Christmas to all, eating a pozole and tamales. Hell yeah, living it up, man.
Bomb Christmas.
Bailey Darley says Denise's mom gets asked if Denise helps with cooking and gets super chat with 69. So funny. That's why I love content and hope you guys have a great 2024. Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Bailey.
Bailey. That's so funny. Next week's episode, we're going to have my little brother cutting a promo on Reg and John Taylor.
Honestly.
You horny people calling my
Listen.
mom.
I wouldn't be mad at it at all. A son protecting their mom, I'm with you, dog. You're right. You're probably right.
Infamous Radio Local says, all I can say is imagine the pay-per-view and New Year's Eve watch along. Oh, I know, but instead New Year's Eve is on a Tuesday. And then, but we will be here on Wednesday, obviously, the following one for the debut, the Max debut. And then they also announced 2 shows for what was it? What were they calling it?
Maximum Carnage.
Maximum Carnage. That's what it was. Yeah, Maximum Carnage. I think they said what, the 15th?
Martin Luther King Day, the 15th and the 16th. Oh, damn, Denise, now that I think about it, next week is the debut on Max. This is the last non-Max AEW ever. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm caught up, I think. That's wild. Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
I'm super excited, though, on some real shit. I could finally watch this show on this damn app. I'm so happy for next week.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting. And we'll be here for World's End too. All right, we got Jimmy Jimenez here who says AEW flag guy, fortunate enough to be at all 3 Hammerstein shows.
Sick.
Ring of Honor Final Battle was the best. Do yourself a favor and watch. Energy in that building is crazy. Okay, so I love that you were at all the shows and decided that this one was the best one because you got a pretty good episode of Dynamite tonight, but if Ring of Honor Final Battle won your pick, that's huge considering that, Ring of Honor always tends to be the unloved one, I feel.
Master, the redheaded stepchild for sure.
Yeah, the redheaded stepchild.
The survival of the fittest match on ROH Final Battle is probably the best match that happened in that venue, in this Hammerstein in this 3 days. That shit was absolutely insane. So many cool things on that ROH show, but an ROH show being in Hammerstein, Nigel McGuinness is coming back. So cool. I understand why Jimmy's saying that.
Did it make you feel like going back and covering Ring of Honor? And do you think it made people feel like they actually should invest in watching Ring of Honor and Honor Club?
It gave me the vibes. Like I was like watching the show and hyped and like, yeah, this is what ROH feels like to me. This is what I would want. Like I would feel happy covering this. Like it definitely gave up the vibes. And I feel like whatever they do, if they get this TV deal or whatever's happening, doing stuff like this is what's going to get more people to invest in it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what they got to do, man. Like they're constantly talking about, this new TV deal for Ring of Honor and whether or not it's going to happen. And for a while, I'm looking at it, and I'm going, no, because no one really showing any interest.
Right.
But this weekend, it felt like they hit all of the right notes for Ring of Honor to where people where Ring of Honor popped up on my Twitter timeline.
Look at
It
that.
never pops up on my timeline ever.
So yeah, anytime they could get some momentum and they can maybe move forward with more people caring about the product, they got to be in venues like this. They got to give up the real what feels like Ring of Honor, and I think they have all the pieces to do it.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. And I'm glad you got to enjoy those shows and those atmospheres. I've never been to the Hammerstein. Have you?
I went to a Ring of Honor show in 20. No, it wasn't Hammerstein. It was at Hammer. Yeah, I did go to Hammerstein. 2013 WrestleMania weekend. ROH had a show and it was awesome.
Oh, nice. All right. I've
Mhm.
never been, so maybe
So
someday.
good.
We got a very generous super chat here from John. Hmm. Hayton? Hateen? Damn it. I really
Han-
wanted to get it. I
Han-
pride myself whenever I can get someone's name right, but
Hanaton? What if the
Naden?
H is silent? Nathan.
It
Like
feels like
Nathan.
it.
John
Nathan.
Nathan.
John
Yeah.
Naden. Yeah, it might be.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see
Mhm.
if we get a correction here on the spelling of the last name. But John, thank you so much for your kind super chat. He says, not too many rematches. Look, again, when it comes to the rematches, if they feel like they haven't been burnt out, if it feels like there's
Yes.
a purpose, a reason for it, I'm all here for that. If it doesn't feel like it and they're just like, dude, you're just running this back because you don't got anything else, that's when it starts to become a problem.
Like I feel like if they ran back Mariah and Toni at World's End, I'd be like, it's too soon, like too fast. Like there's some rematches that they need to let cook more before they get to them. So I do understand.
So he says the H is silent with a soft
Yeah.
A.
hmm
So it is like Mateen.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, I love that. It's a fun
Great name.
last name.
That is fun.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, Sean.
No, so yeah, I think like the only time I'm telling you where I felt like, oh, I didn't need to see this match again was Moxley and Orange Cassidy. That
Yeah.
was the only one.
AEW doesn't do too many where that you feel like it's overdone. So I think it's
I
fine.
honestly think this fatal four-way could have been Jon Moxley versus Hangman Page.
Honestly, 101. Yeah. It felt like the other guys are kind of like along for the ride. Like Jay White is trying to establish himself. He has the Hangman thing, but like if this was just, especially with what happened tonight, Moxley standing in the ring, like you said, when he came out, people were like, okay. But when Hangman came out, people went crazy. If it was just a one-on-one, it might feel like Hangman is going to win more if it was one-on-one.
I think people, if he didn't win in a one-on-one match, I think people would be like, dude, why not? I think people would be questioning more. They're trying to blind us by adding Jay White and
Hiding
Orange
it away.
Cassidy. They're trying to confuse us. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it not so obvious.
That's
But
fair.
it is
I mean,
obvious.
if you're not going to give Hangman the belt, you want to put him in a position where he doesn't look crazy and losing, you know?
Right, right. John, thank you so much for the super
Thanks,
chat.
Sean.
I hope you're having a nice holiday. We got Tyrone Kid here who says the real question to me is when is Rico getting put on the milk carton? Man mentioned another's home. He should have been there when they got the TP at.
Oh, listen, yeah. At the end of it, Swerve was, or Rico at the end of the promo was like, "That's why you don't have a house no more." Talking about his house getting burnt down. Let me tell you from experience, Swerve does not forget anything ever. So Rico, you're in for it.
So he's gonna burn his house down. If
I don't know if
somebody
he's
burns
gonna go
your
that
house
far,
down, you gotta burn somebody else's house down. It's like a receipt or what?
but all I'm saying is Swerve does not forget. He will not forget. Rico's gonna get his for
No,
sure.
I'm sorry, but we can't talk about Ricochet and Swerve anymore. You want to know why?
Why?
It's all about Stefan and Trevor.
See, that's crazy. We can't say those names. Those are government names. They're gonna be mad.
Stefan and Trevor. Okay, that's how I'm gonna refer to them now in this feud.
Swerve and Ricochet sounds way better than Stefan and fucking Trevor. But shout out to the homies. Both incredible. Two of the
Imagine
best
if they're
ever.
like, "What's your favorite match of the year?" Oh, it was Stefan versus Trevor.
That just doesn't sound right. I'm like, who?
These aren't wrestlers.
Man, these sound like sitcom characters.
That's too funny. So yeah, the other thing that I did like, by the way, was Swerve doing the aha bit
Mhm.
on Ricochet because that's his
He got
thing
it
now,
back.
guys. It's his bit. Like that's his
Mhm.
thing. It got over because
Yeah,
everybody
it
was
worked.
talking shit about it, so it works. And now Ricochet is gonna keep doing it.
And getting him back with it right in his face, like good, really good move.
Thank you so much, Tyrone. We got Stephen Marchulli who says, Merry Christmas, California Connection. Let's get ready to see Starks in 2025. Yeah, probably in WWE.
I was gonna
Honestly,
say
I hate to say it, guys, but I don't think we're
that.
going to see Starks anymore in AEW, bro. As much as I'd
Yeah.
love to, I'm not that optimistic
I
about that.
feel like if we were going to see him, we would have saw him at Hammerstein just for what's going on, and we did not see him at Hammerstein, so I don't feel like
You
we're
want
gonna
to know
see
what
him.
the weird part is, too? And this is where I'm confused. is that Ricky Starks got pulled off those GCW shows, right?
Mhm.
But then we still got to see Matt Cardona and Chris Jericho work together. So
Jericho showed up in fucking LA GCW, Denise.
right.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that kind of piss you off if you're Ricky Starks being like, wait, so he, an AEW talent, can do this, but me, I get pulled off?
Like, that doesn't look crazy. That looks crazy. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
we have all this drama, and then we put Matt Cardona in the main event in this same place. If I was Ricky Starks, that would look crazy. But there's, the relationship at this point is tumultuous. So I don't know.
I think Ricky Starks really is the redheaded stepchild.
At this point, like, because we continuously see people be like, I want to see him on TV, and AEW's like, nah, we're good.
But hear me out, and I want the chat to answer me this too. But in a way, do you feel like Ricky Starks, by not appearing on AEW and constantly being in conversations like this, like what Steven brought up, do you think that's making him in a way more popular? Because it's like, for example, the people that do not like AEW, the people that do not like Tony Khan, if they see, oh, Ricky Starks is the guy that isn't getting along with Tony, isn't being shown on AEW, it's almost like, all right, so he's not one of them. He could be one of us.
See, the AEW, I think, people are like, there's pettiness, there's all this in wrestling. AEW, if I was them, I would have this for on TV with his looking up at the lights every single night. I would have this guy fucking losing matches, have him on TV, but have him be like, this guy's a fucking loser. If you want to play the game, Denise, they are setting WWE up so fucking hard with Ricky Starks. When Ricky Starks shows up and all those WWE fans are like, he was wasted in AEW. I can't believe they did this. I can't believe they did this. And he starts cooking over there. The perception's going to be like, the AEW fucked up no matter what they do from this point. If they would have had this on TV jobbing out, they'd be like, oh, who cares? You can do whatever he wants over there. But you're setting this up for greatness. And that's the only part where I'm like, I don't know. Icing him out is going to ice you out in the end. You know?
Yes, this is a good point here from Simeon, who says it makes him come across as sympathetic. So when he pulls up in
Exactly.
NXT, people are going to say AEW and TK fumbled him.
No matter
Yeah,
what AEW does, he's looking like they're holding him down. He's looking like they're not putting him on TV. Like, he's the one that's benefiting from this. AEW is not benefiting from not having Ricky Starks on TV.
yeah, it's making him feel like forbidden fruit, He's almost getting that, like,
Exactly.
controversy, and we know controversy, like, people love that shit. People
They
love to
love
talk
it.
about people that are controversial,
And if
and,
he comes out and he's like, let's talk about what I did, people are going to eat that shit. He shows up on Raw and he's like, let's talk about my old boss. Dude, money. We're making $1 gazillion.
yeah, but they wouldn't do that on WWE, though. Like, even with Punk, they strayed away from that stuff?
And that's only, which makes a lot more sense. The fans just don't care. Like, anytime Punk tries to make like an AEW dig, the fans are like, we don't care about that. We only care about WWE stuff.
Not the same audience, yeah, not the same. I mean, there's the hardcores, of course, and people like us and the chat and whatnot who are like, yeah, we know exactly what that means, insider
Right.
baseball stuff. But yeah, so
The
I do
broader
think though
audience
that
is like, we don't care, dude. We care about this right here. We care about WrestleMania.
yep, exactly. But I do think that this whole controversy is making Starks a more known person by not appearing on TV, which is weird, but whatever, right? All right, we got Moe Best here. Moe, thank you so much for the super chat.
Thanks,
Didn't write
man.
anything, but still, thank you so much for that. We
So,
got Hamburger Halper here who says, Happy Christmas. Want to say thank you, Denise and Reg. I loved everything you guys are doing. I hope to meet you guys in 2025, and we need more Reg videos. I've been putting more Reg on. He's been on. I've been calling you all the time. We
I
did
was
like
like,
6 videos already.
I was going ham on Denise's Christmas little videos, man. I was all over this thing. If you didn't get enough Reg content, I was content y'all out.
Spoiler alert, tomorrow early in the
Oh,
morning.
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow morning, I'm dropping the video.
Woo-wee.
The video.
This one's the one, you guys. This one's
All
the
I'm
one.
going to say is Reg is in it. Will is in it. I'm in it. And one more special person is in that video. And I'm pretty sure you guys will know who that person is based off of
They
the names
was
I
cheating.
just mentioned.
That's all I gotta say. They was cheating. That's all I'm gonna give y'all. The fix
We'll
was in.
talk more about this next week, Reg, because by then the video will be out. And there are some things I haven't even told you about that I figured out while I was editing the video.
They was the fix was in. That's all I want to say.
man, Hamburger Helper, thank you so much. We got Shanika here who says, dropping some holiday
Yes.
love for the Cali connection despite the Daily Place slander.
Look, Shanika, we
Daily's
listen.
Place, except their nachos. I don't like their nachos though. Their nachos,
We
they
like
overdid
Daily
it with the
Space,
cheese.
but anything that's attached to the pandemic is always going to be looked at kind of like, you know. So
Yeah, we get like PTSD from the pandemic.
that's it. It's just PTSD. That's all it is. Like, oh, when what was happening when that was happening was weird.
Yeah. Shanika, thank you so much for the
Thanks,
super
man.
chat. I hope you're having a lovely holiday. We got your brother's nephew here who says 2025 AEW Crystal Ball shows manager Samantha Johnson. I don't
I don't
know,
think
man.
so.
I don't know how long that non-compete of hers is, but it sounds like it's pretty long though.
I think Ricochet. I don't want him to have her. I don't want that to be his manager. I see a lot of people being like, "That'll really help the heel thing," but no, I think him by himself is what it really is going to do it. Like,
Dude, if he got
carry it.
Samantha to be with him on TV and be his manager, I 100% think that would be great for his heel turn.
But people are gonna
People are gonna what, Reg? They're
cheer
gonna
them.
hate him for having a beautiful woman next to him that defends him with all her might.
If Samantha comes on acting like she be acting on Twitter, yes. Like if she's just like fuck y'all, then I'm with it because like everybody's gonna
But
boo
here's
them.
the thing, granted, if she's the manager, she's gonna be able to pull that side of her. That
Yeah.
like based off my interviews with her and like off-air interactions that I've had with Samantha, she's an incredibly sweet person. Like I
Totally.
can't like I feel way more mean than Samantha is. But on social media, she kind of gets like a little bit of hate
She's
there.
savage. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a little savage there with some of the things, but I'm like, okay, whatever, to each their own, right? But in person, she's very, very sweet. And she's a very, very sweet person, very nice. Very, very nice person. So I feel like if she did channel that, Twitter persona on screen, it could be something. I would love to
True.
see her on AEW doing that.
It could work.
All right, imagine Ricochet bragging that he's got Samantha.
It could totally work.
See, like Reg's getting jealous already. All right, we got John Taylor here who says, for those of you who missed the watch along and have no idea why both mine and Reg's good names are being said, neither do I. I never send a $69 super chat that got seen by Denise's family.
It's crazy.
Oh man, I was not expecting all that to go
A
down
bunch of
today.
people that weren't supposed to see stuff for our show today saw it. So shout out to that.
Yeah, seriously. All right, we got your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate who says Ricochet, aha, is stolen from Jadakiss, right?
Yes, 100%, 1000%, a gazillion percent. It's Jada Kiss's. Aha! Yes.
Infamous Radio Local says, love that Cali connection. And Grandma says, reply, Reg.
Radio Local's being insane right now.
That's because he put the kids to bed already.
Honestly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just Ricardo, did Reg get a tan?
That's crazy. That's insane. Like how? Where? When? When?
Yeah. You got that Adam Cole tan looking a little orange.
Like where would it go? Because of my orange beanie? Did I get a tan? How do I get a tan? No, I was in Bakersfield, but it wasn't even hot. I don't know. Y'all are wild.
No comment.
Black people can't tan. This is my natural glow.
That's why I said no comment, bro. I don't know what's going on. All right, Chris. Thank you, Ricardo. We got Chris Ledeck is in the building. He says, Merry Christmas to you both. I feel one of AEW's biggest issues is they aren't protecting their biggest baby faces. I hated Ospreay losing to Ricochet after he's been booked. Thank you, Chris. I literally texted Reg immediately when I saw that, and I hated that Ricochet defeated Ospreay. I 1000% agree with this, man.
We needed to get Ricochet to the semifinals too, across from Will Ospreay, potentially to have that showdown. But it was more about that. Ospreay is good, Denise. He's gonna be fucking world champion. He's good off of this.
You're so lucky I don't fucking have the Continental Classic chart with me right now at my disposal, because if I did, then I would have told
Allin,
you all the other people he could have lost to or won to. Do you remember all of it?
He lost to Claudio, Darby, Ricochet.
So he lost to Claudio. He lost to Claudio. He lost to Darby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're telling me he couldn't have beat Claudio Castagnoli?
Yeah.
Thank you. You want to get him points? Have him beat Claudio.
But
Do
he's
not have him
in the
beat Will Ospreay.
semifinals, Denise. What does it matter?
I don't care. I don't care, Will. I mean, sorry, I don't know why I'm calling you Will right now, but that's how mad I am. I'm not even seeing properly anymore.
Come on.
Reg, I'm sorry, but I just didn't like that. I don't think that they should have like there are certain people you just don't sacrifice like that. And Will Ospreay is one of them. I think he just lost to Darby Allin. And Darby Allin's different because they had the whole
I
thing.
think
And
he should have beat Darby. I'll take that.
no, because Darby, no. So you think it was better for Ricochet to defeat Will than for Will to defeat Darby?
Yes.
You're crazy. You're
Because
crazy, Reg.
Ricochet knows him. We know this long history. If anybody could beat Will Ospreay, it's Ricochet. Like that's their thing.
No, if anybody could beat Will Ospreay, it's Darby because Darby is like one of the top AEW people, period. And he's bound to be AEW World Champion. Is Ricochet going to be AEW World Champion?
He might. I don't know. He's changed the perception on what Ricochet is.
I don't know if he's changed it that much for me to be like, oh yeah, AEW World Champion Ricochet.
Not right now, but in the future.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying.
Like when
Darby
Ospreay
Allin
wins,
is
he could be the one to beat
champion.
Ospreay.
What?
When Ospreay wins the world championship, Ricochet could be the one to beat him. He knows him.
I don't think so.
They're friends.
I'm sorry. I have to disagree.
All right.
I have to disagree. It's going to be Darby Allin, Will Ospreay. I don't know.
That's
I
fair.
can't see it.
That's fair.
That's fair. I'm sorry. We're not seeing eye to eye right now, guys. Chris Ludek here. We were going to have a freaking AEW World Champion walking around going, oh.
Yes. You hate it. You're mad. You're bad about it. That's the point.
Oh, God. I mean, whatever. We're here with Jon Moxley, so what am I even talking about?
That's true.
Chris Ledeck says, Reg, I agree. The Death Rider stuff was interesting at first, but he's gotten dumb and has no direction. Darby should beat Moxley for that bout. And to be honest, the most over group is the Hurt Syndicate. Yes, I do agree with all of that. I did think Darby was going to defeat Moxley. I'm telling you, ever since I learned that he's going to be in climbing Mount Everest in April and gone for 3 months, that made me think either they're going to do it after at All In, or maybe they'll get it in before, but then he could if he was wrestling Jon Moxley at Revolution, but I just don't think they're doing that.
I don't feel like it's going to happen this soon either.
No, I don't know what we think is going to happen here with this whole situation, but it's just, it is what it is. Right now, for whatever reason, they have their heart and soul set on Moxley, and they are going to ride this out until they do.
Moxley's the one for them, I guess. Leading the way. Breaking case of emergency. They broke.
Chris, thank you so much. We got Jimmy Jimenez here who says, don't forget Samantha's an actor. Need her as a heel. I didn't realize she was an actor, actually. Thank you for letting me know.
She has many talents, so she could do it.
Your father's here says, Reg can manage an airport runway with that hat on.
This way.
See you in the window.
This way. Come in. I see you.
Varitz McHugh says, a bit late to the show, but here, nonetheless, best post show in the game. Merry Christmas for the two of you. Peace, people in the wrestling business. Best people in the wrestling business. Much love. Varitz, thank you so much. And thank you for all the support and the kind comments that you've also shared on social media. I see them. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for hopping on. We got Infamous Raider Loco here who says, question, when we say D-Riders, we talking about Mox and crew, right? Not Denise. Shout out to the hubby once again. Love you guys for the work. I'm out.
Thank you, Infamous Raider Loco. Crazy amount of words and sentences that you said there put together, like D-Riders and Denise, but I hear you.
All right. With that being said, really quickly, Toni Storm defeated Taya Valkyrie. Thoughts, Reg?
Good to see Toni in this position. I think Taya getting a big moment like this is great. I like to see her and Deonna in more big spots like this, and Deonna looked like Blade for some reason.
Oh my gosh. All righty, guys. It's Christmas. We're logging off. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for the last 3 hours, both doing the watch along as well as the post show. Seriously, guys. Thank you so freaking much. Like, we can't thank you enough. If you are a DWO member, Reg and I will be doing a virtual meet and greet on Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. DWO members, you are more than welcome to hop on into that. And then on top of that, all of the weekly videos all of the daily videos are coming out. I've dropped now 24 videos. 25 is about to go up right now. And then tomorrow morning, I will be dropping a video, like I said, with me and Phil and Reg. I almost spoiled the surprise.
And
Screw it. You guys were here with us the whole time. Will Washington will also
double
be on.
dub, baby. Yes, yes, yes. Come on.
Will is actually hosting the video. I am not. So that'll be your other little scoop for tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in to watch that video. It'll be up bright and early. We got Just Ricardo who says Reg wearing an NPC marker on his nugget. What? Oh, okay. You're like a highlighter. Reg, this is what you look like.
Oh, I was like, what's happening?
Right? This is what you look like.
An NPC marker on my nugget. My head is the nugget. Got you.
Yeah,
like,
it took me a second. I was like, what? All right. And then we got your father's brother's nephew here who says the Hurt Syndicate versus the Death Syndicate is a cinder brick match.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
That's going to happen one day. It has to.
I hope it does too. Awesome. All right. With that being said, guys, that is our show. Reg, where can the people support you and follow you and all of that?
Every Wednesday, I'm here with Denise. Every Saturday, I'm on with Phil Lindsay. You guys are great today. You guys are amazing. Grapsitybutt.bitcartel.com if you want to get that sweater that Denise has on. That's like how you can support me. RighteousReg.bandcamp.com. Buy my album. You can also support me there. You guys are so cool. This is so great. Y'all are so amazing. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. All that good stuff. Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. All of it. Love y'all.
I was like, wait, I thought you were about to run down all the list. I was like, what?
No, just the ones I can remember.
Alrighty, everyone. Happy holidays. Hope you have an awesome rest of the day. And also, Friday, I'll be back here with Robin for some SmackDown conversation. AEW World's End Watch Along will also be here. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.